Hey, what's going on, kings and queens? My crowns and my tiaras. This one right here is going to be sensitive to someone or people, and if it bothers you or trigger you, please jump off and join me on another one of my previous contents that I made. So, also, if you're here for the first time, welcome. Subscribe if you want to do so. Notifications. So when I upload, you guys are notified. Thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section. This right here, this young lady, this beautiful black queen right here, she is currently serving time in jail because of her husband. Her nasty ass, low down, predator ass husband. Now that she has filed a divorce, I'm so happy for that. But her husband was charged. Y'all can see that. Her husband was charged with. She owned a daycare, and she wanted this all her life, so she finally got it. Her husband is an ex-cop, retired cop from 11 years, and so she opened up a daycare business, and her husband had helped her with the business for about 4 or 5 years. And first he became, like, I guess, the inside employee, and then he became her driver. And so by the time him driving the children to where they gotta go, what they have to do, he was sexually abusing the children, which she went down to the police station to make reports and stuff like that. So they said they're going to investigate it and see what they can do. And by him being a cop, I guess she felt like there's nothing that they really going to do because they want to protect their own, even though he's an ex-cop. I guess she felt like they were going to protect him or whatever and not really investigate. I'm not sure. So she took matters into her own hands and she shot his ass more than once. Yeah, she shot him more than once. But he survived. And so the fucked up thing about it is that the prosecutors gave her 2 years. They was like, get this predator off the fucking streets. He deserved to be in jail. But she did what the hell she had to do. So, when a person kills someone, not kill someone, I'm sorry about that. A person shoots someone, regardless, they're going to get a lot of time, depending on the crime or the significance of the incident. The prosecutors only gave this woman 2 years. The judge said, I'm not having that. He gave her 4. And very rare in cases like this that the judge will overturn the prosecutors. Very rare. So the judge, I guess he was feeling some type of way. And he gave her 4 fucking years. And the prosecutors only want to give her 2. That's crazy. So about the time that this happened, a lot of people was outraged. They even did a free Shantiri Wims. So some people expressed their feelings for this. Don't let them sweep this under the rug. The man is still alive and hasn't been arrested for anything worth noting that he is a former cop. Keep the heat on them. You need to free her immediately. She did the world a favor wasting that scumbag. She sent him to hell where he belongs, but he's not passed away. Not at all. A daycare owner shoots her husband for allegedly molesting children at the center. Baby, she is a hero. Free that woman. Free her fast and not slow. Free her and make sure the husband is thrown into the electric chair. She had to take matters into her own hands after going to the authorities when they wouldn't do anything about it because he's a former cop. They're lucky he's still alive. I would have alive him. That's what some people are saying. So that's her husband. His name is James Wims Jr. And that is the man that she shot. And my thing is, I don't think she was trying to kill him. She was in a bit of rage. She was enraged. And so she did what she had to do. And I stand behind her and her decision that she made. So again, yeah, free her. So what they say is that he victimized 4 children, and the youngest being 7 years old. I think the oldest was maybe 11, but the victims are 2 boys and 2 girls. And some of this happened at the park, at the daycare center, and in the van. He was that bold, thinking he wasn't going to get caught. And I'm glad that the children spoke up and told their parent, even though he tried his hardest. He tried his hardest, you guys. He tried his hardest to tell the kids that don't tell anyone. It's our secret. Then he told one of the other children that if you tell someone, you're gonna get in trouble. Typical of a predator. You know? And then I don't understand the judge for even allowing to overrule the prosecutors. So anyways, you guys, if you're here the first time, welcome. Subscribe if you want to do so. Notification bell button so I upload, you guys will be notified. Also, thumbs up. Let's get this story out here. And also, leave a comment in the comment section. So let's get it.
The judge says Shantari Weems took the law into her own hands. But she says she snapped, and some supporters see her as a kind of avenging angel, seeking justice for horrible crimes against children.
I was emotional.
Her backers were stunned last month when a judge slapped the 50-year-old with a 4-year sentence, twice what even prosecutors recommended in a plea deal.
Despite my surroundings, I'm doing okay. I have a lot of supporters and people who uplift me and help me survive.
Prosecutors have charged her husband, James Weems, with 33 counts of rape and child sex crimes. He's awaiting trial, and his lawyer is declining to comment.
Don't let them sweep this under the rug. The man is still alive. And
right from the start, the internet was filled with support for Weems under the hashtag #FreeShantari. She shot her husband, a retired cop, twice in his room at what was then D.C.'s Mandarin Oriental Hotel, where he was staying while providing security at the Urban League convention. The judge said her attack on her husband was premeditated, not spontaneous, that police had told her days earlier that they were investigating him, and they'd shut down her little kid's castle in Baltimore County while they looked into the allegations of child sexual abuse.
The only person I had to find out information from was my husband. And he kept saying he didn't do it.
And you believed him?
I did believe him.
But then, she says, the mother of one of the
Supporters of a Baltimore County daycare owner were stunned when she was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison today.
Now, she admits shooting her husband after learning of allegations he was abusing children in their care. WJZ investigator Mike Helgen is live with what is next and the outrage in the courtroom today. Mike.
Denise Vick, Shantari Weems' lawyer, tells us he'll do what he can to get her sentence modified, but there's no guarantee. A number of supporters believe justice was not served. They thought she would just walk out of court today a free woman. The judge said, no way.
I just can't imagine. No one expected this. 4 years no one expected that.
Outrage after a judge sentenced Baltimore County daycare owner Shantari Weems to 4 years in prison for shooting her husband after learning he molested children. Danita Wallace is Weems' childhood friend.
Just to think about being in that scenario, the level of rage What would you do? What would anybody do? I'm not saying that you're supposed to take the law into your own hands, but I cannot begin to imagine when the person that you trust most in the world has not only violated your trust, has destroyed your business, and also violated children.
Weems, a former correctional officer who lives in Randallstown, ran Little Kids Castle in Owings Mills. Her husband, James Weems, is a former Baltimore City police officer. She said she thought of him as her protector and never imagined he would abuse vulnerable children at her daycare. When she learned of the allegations, she drove to the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Washington, D.C. last July, where he was staying while working on a private security detail, and shot him twice.
I really thought time served was more than enough, and I cannot believe this judge did not accept even the plea deal that was offered by the government. When does this happen? It's really outrageous.
D.C. Judge Michael O'Keefe sentenced Weems to double what prosecutors had asked for as part of a guilty plea, calling her actions cruel and the deal too lenient. Tony Garcia is Shantari Weems' lawyer.
To get that kind of sentence is, frankly, to me, it's insulting. It simply doesn't make sense at all.
Now, Jane,
their kids, so she shoots him.
I trusted my husband fully. We were both.
And so my thing was this. I was talking to someone yesterday, and it wasn't a debate. It was like almost like a heated argument. It wasn't like they wasn't agreeing with what I was saying. It was just that their degree they have, I had to think what was going on in their head. I don't give a F. I don't care what the hell they was thinking. I'm not a psychiatrist, and I don't do none of that shit. So I don't care what was going on in their mind. I don't care what kind of disease they got. They nasty. So I was saying this. Your penis got hard for a child. You're telling me, and I'm saying this as his wife, when I heard this shit. So me as your wife, me as this big, beautiful, thick ass, educated, successful ass woman. You're telling me as your wife that my cootie cat, this kitty, that purr, that gets wet for you, my throat, that you may slide down sometimes, get a little wet. So you're telling me my throat and my kitty cat was not enough for you, that you had to go and insert yourself into children? Those were babies, regardless if they was at my daycare center or not. That's just the icing on the cake. Nigga. So you telling me my big, fine, sexy ass wasn't enough for you? That you had to go and get children? This type of trauma gonna last for a fucking lifetime. That's how mad I got talking to this person yesterday, saying that this is what I will be saying to him as I approached him in that hotel room. You nasty, sick bitch. I would have shot him in his dick.
Owner that her husband is molesting their kids, so she shoots him.
I trusted my husband fully. We were both supposed to be on this crusade of saving children.
So today's bando beauty is actually an inmate, and no, it isn't any one of those thick-alicious beauties that have got that thirst trap picture floating around. No, this one is actually more of a superhero than you can ever imagine. Well, her name is Shantari Weems, and she ran a daycare somewhere in Baltimore. Horribly, she found out that her husband had been molesting the children, and well, she flew off the edge and shot that bastard the fuck up. Unfortunately, she hasn't been given bail, and she wasn't given a slap on the wrist. She's actually been sentenced to 4 years, which I think is completely outrageous and completely unfair, but the bando supports you. You are beautiful, and you are a superhero.
Parents tell a daycare owner that her
And I knew that she was not lying. She finally said it was my husband.
You think about that child all the time?
All the time. I think about all the children all the time.
You felt this complete betrayal of trust?
I was totally broken. I felt like the blood had just drained out of my body because, again, this was my husband. I trusted him fully. He was supposed to help me protect these children. He always told me he was my protector. So when I heard this, I just felt like my world had just ended.
She took her first drink in 20 years, and according to prosecutors, texted her business partner, "I'm going to kill him and then myself." She drove to the hotel and angrily confronted him.
I snapped. I'm not a violent person. I was totally broken. I felt like the blood had just drained out of my body.
At first, Shantari Weems says, she did not believe the allegations that her husband, a former cop, had abused children at her daycare, Little Kids Castle.
We were both supposed to be on this crusade of saving children. And child molestation is something that we talked about all the time.
About how horrible it was.
How horrible it was, yes.
But then, the mother of one of the children, a child she had loved and cared for like her own, told her what the little one had told the police.
I saw the pain in her face, and I knew that she was not lying.
She had her first drink in 20 years. Prosecutors say she texted her business partner and friend, "I'm going to kill him, and then myself." And then she drove to D.C.'s then Mandarin.
The judge declared no combination of conditions could protect the public from the danger posed by James Weems Jr. Dressed in an orange prison jumpsuit, 57-year-old James Weems Jr. used a walker to enter his closed-circuit TV bail review. Weems is recovering from a gunshot wound after his wife allegedly shot him inside a D.C. hotel room after confronting him about abusing children at the daycare she owns. He sat with his head in his hands, sighing loudly as the prosecution discussed the case against him.
These are very, very serious offenses. That's why we were asking that Mr. Weems be held without bail.
Weems is charged with sexually abusing 3 children at the Kids Castle daycare in Owings Mills. The victims are a 12-year-old girl, a 10-year-old girl, and a 7-year-old boy. Investigators say Weems asked the girls to take explicit photos of themselves. He's accused of showing porn to one victim and teaching her where to find it on the internet. The girls told police they sat near Mr. James on the bus to be his door openers. The victims explained the incidents took place on the bus and at a playground on daycare property.
We believe that Mr. Weems was a risk to public safety, a risk to the children that were named in the complaint, as well as others.
According to police charging documents, a 10-year-old girl told authorities Mr. James, the owner's husband, touched her in a very inappropriate way 2 times. She explained that Mr. James was the only person who was nice to her, and he gave her snacks. She said Mr. James told her not to tell anybody. The 7-year-old boy told authorities a male employee said he would get into trouble if he told anyone who touched him.
I don't know.
Donald Jones says he's a lifelong friend of Weems and that he's shocked by the allegations.
Highly emotional situation. I'm here to support him, and I just don't believe that any of this, that he's capable of committing any of this stuff.
This is an ongoing investigation. Police believe there may be more victims. They plan to interview 93 children who were there at the same time that Weems was employed. Now, court papers indicate he worked there 4 years and spent the past 2 years as a van driver there. Reporting from District Court in Towson, David Collins.
So if you, again, you guys, welcome. If you're for the first time, don't forget to subscribe if you want to do so. Hit the notification bell button so when I upload, you guys will be notified. Also, thumbs up, and leave a comment in the comment section. This thing is very horrible, and so I'm glad that he's locked up and justice will be served. But again, the trauma that those children are going to have for many, many years, and I hope they receive the help that they deserve. And I believe that the judicial system failed these children because, again, like I said, that she went down there. Somebody's going to investigate. I know they're supposed to do their job. There's protocols to go by. But, again, I don't know. You had kids come into the jailhouse to tell you guys, and you guys somebody's going to investigate. He should have been locked up immediately and put on a 72-hour hold, however long they're supposed to hold you, and then do the investigation. He should not remain free, even though he still wasn't actively involved at the daycare center, because they shut her shit down immediately. He was still able to go work and do shit, So this is very sad. So I hope you guys enjoy this content, and I will catch you guys on another one. Let's get into this. And I am your girl, Who? I am your girl, Queen 318 Cadet Steven, and you can tune into Who? HOUSEOFQUEENS TV.
At the daycare center she owns will remain in jail in Washington, D.C. This morning, a judge ordered Shanteri Weems stay behind bars ahead of her next court date, which is in August. Now, we told you last week that Weems was arrested after shooting James Weems Jr., allegedly, in a hotel room in Washington. Her lawyers say she fired in self-defense when she confronted him about those molestation claims. WJZ investigator Mike Helgren, he's live in Washington, D.C. He was the only Baltimore television reporter in that courtroom this morning, Mike, which I understand was very emotional.
Denise, there was some drama. People were angry about this decision and began yelling at the judge, both in the courtroom and those watching in an online feed. Now, the judge explained essentially that she cannot consider the motive at this phase and that Shanteri Weems should not have taken the law into her own hands. An emotional scene outside of the courthouse where friends and family of Shanteri Weems comfort each other moments after a judge orders her held without bail. Weems owns a daycare in Baltimore County. She's accused of shooting her husband, James Weems Jr., over allegations he was molesting children there. The violent encounter happened at a luxury hotel in Washington, D.C. last week, where Weems, a retired Baltimore City police officer, was on a work trip on a security detail.
Regardless whether or not you feel like what she did was justifiable, she was protecting children.
Obviously, she's disappointed.
Her attorney, Tony Garcia, argued she shot her husband in self-defense.
She was emotionally shattered. And as she went down there asking him what happened, he went from 0 to 1,000. He came at her, and she had to defend herself.
The prosecutor alleges Weems never told police she was scared of her husband, and the judge explained the reason she confronted him is not a factor the court considers. Weems, handcuffed and wearing an orange jail jumpsuit, wept inside the courtroom. Family, including her mother, declined to speak to WJZ. We did obtain an affidavit from the detective who interviewed her. He described a bloody scene. One bullet went through her husband's neck. Another remains lodged in his thigh. Police say Shanteri Weems wrote in a notebook that James Weems is scum. I hope you get beat up in jail. I'm going to paralyze you. And I want these kids to get justice. My only regret is that I didn't put the bullet in your head. She apologized to her babies at the daycare, writing that she did not know about the abuse.
Being behind bars and taking your freedom from you is hell.
And right now, James Weems remains...
And so it's sad because of the fact that she's not one of those women that stand by her man, turn a blind eye, and say, I didn't know it was happening, and continues letting it go on because she wants to stand by your man or for the love of your man. So I'm so happy that she is not one of those type of women. So it's a thing called life. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but put your faith in God. He will see you through. He is all understanding. I love you. God loves you. Hope you love yourself even more. Keep in mind it get greater later. And again, happy Women's Month.